Wise, and we back. And tonight, we got a very special guest on the podcast. Hey, my guy, let them know where you're at, where you're from, your name, all that shit.
My name's Conrad. I'm from Denver, Colorado. Um, got a little YouTube channel. I branded it. You know what I'm saying? You see it right there, Mile High Hustle. Um, yeah, man, just doing my thing. Just you know what I mean. Channel started out a little negative, but kind of didn't feel good in the way it was going. So had to put a positive flip on it. It's going good now, man.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I seen the transition, you know what I mean? Over time, I seen the growth and the transition was crazy, from where you been, what you're doing now. Much respect, dog. You're doing big things, you know what I'm saying? And we see you out here. We see you. So let's
Appreciate
get
that.
into how you grew up, bro. I mean, you're from Denver, Colorado, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Always
So
originally.
yeah, born and raised. Born and raised. I'm a native. My mom was first generation. Her parents were immigrants, so I'm second generation. Mexicano on my mom's side. On my dad's side, I'm like third generation Irish from my grandma, and my grandfather was a German native. So
Oh
got
wow,
a few mixes in there, brother. You know what I mean?
that's a
So
fighting spirit right there.
some wild ones, yeah, for sure. All warrior spirits on that one.
Oh yeah, that's definitely some warrior cultures right there. You know.
Yes, sir.
Grab my phone so I can see the chat. Chat. Shout out to everyone in the chat who's watching. I appreciate you.
Sure.
Let me see. All right, cool. They riding with us. Let's go.
Yeah.
All the real ones share this. We got a real one tonight. So we just taking our time getting into this. I'm learning as I go, learning from my mistakes. I've done a few of these and I've noticed in the intro, it took a little while to get going. So I'm really taking my time to get into it, taking it slow, trying to do it the right way and learn from the past videos I've done.
Yes, sir.
So what was it like growing up in I know a little bit about Denver, a little bit about Colorado from other YouTubers and homeboys and stuff like that. But what about your specific neighborhood or area that you're from? What was it like growing up?
So I'm from North Denver. I'm from the north side of Denver. Basically, we got kind of our own little politics, right? There's a lot of gangs that originated from here, not necessarily Crips or Bloods or any other kind of gangs. There's a lot of naturalized gangs that came up out here, right? So grew up in North Denver. It was rough back then, right? I was a project kid, and you're in the projects, you're in the you know what I mean. You're in that lower poverty level, right? My father died when I was real young, so moms had to keep it down, hold it down. Moms did her thing. Mom was a hustler. You know what I mean? And I never tried to hide that. That's actually where I got my hustle from. My mom. I kind of knew about about dope and all that stuff at an early age. You know what I mean? My mom gamed me up. Um, you look back at it as a functioning father right now, and you look at it, and it's kind of like, man, you know what I mean? And I
It's
would never
crazy.
show my grandkids or my kids something like that, but you know what I mean? I With my mom, I could look at her; she can't do no wrong in my eyes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
And it was a
all the
different
stuff
era.
she taught me was like survival, right?
Right. It was a different time, like not to cut you off, but it was a different era. It was a different time. Unless you know about that time and about that area, like you could be anywhere, a project's a project, you know what I'm saying? I'm from the projects. I grew up in the projects my whole life. My father was in prison, so I know the struggle. I can relate to the struggle. Even though I'm over here in Massachusetts, I'm over in Boston, I'm on the other side or whatever, I still can relate to the struggle growing up. 9 brothers and sisters, there was 10 of us in the
Wow.
projects, no father, single mother raising us, and I got all my ambition and strength from her, watching her pull off what she did, doing anything she could to make sure we got something on Christmas or the holidays, her birthday, like whatever she had to honk or do, whatever she had to do, she made sure there was food on the table, and so I can relate to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's
just
where I get my strength.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't have my dad in my life, right? He died when I was real young. Um, So it was tough. You know, you're gonna get in some trouble. You're gonna mix in the streets, and you know how project kids are. All the project kids are tougher than shit. So
It's all
they,
fighting, bro.
yeah. So you know, you get knuckled up in the streets a lot, right? You learn the game. You eventually carve out. You know, you start making a name for yourself, and
Yep.
you know that's kind of what I did. You know, real humble beginnings. You know what I mean?
I can relate, bro. Like I said, I grew up in the projects. It was always a fight, always a battle, always a struggle. But one thing I had to my advantage, I had older brothers, right? So I got away with a lot of bullshit for a long time. Excuse me. And then there's this old Irish saying that, like, my father had a solid last name, my uncles, all that. But it's like you can't run off your grandfather's name or your father's name forever. You gotta earn your own name, earn your own stripes, and kind of carve out your own lane and make your own respect for yourself. So when I was young, I was kind of like a troublemaker, because I knew that certain dudes wouldn't fuck with me just because of my last name or who my father was, or I had my older brothers to fight my battles. So I would talk shit to older dudes and all kinds of shit. But then when I started to learn the game, I learned respect, and it went a long way once they put me up on game. You know what I mean? So I was a little
Yeah.
spoiled in a sense of having older brothers, and even though my father was in prison and my godfather, my uncles, still that last name held a lot of weight where I was from. So dudes kind of like looked out for me. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you know, mom's had a lot of connections and stuff. So she had a lot of people gamed up, right? So um, you know, when I was real young, I used to took a lot of those ass whippings because I was just a little dude. I didn't have no dad to teach me how to really throw them things, right? I had to just take my licks and didn't
Yep.
have no other brothers. I didn't grow up with that luxury, right? I had to get the shit beat out of me, bro, until my mom, she ended up marrying her high school sweetheart, and dude was a savage, bro. Dude was an Italian, he was an Italian dude. He was just a savage, bro. Dude taught me how to just he really taught me how to throw hands and really how to be that soldier, right? He instilled that in me, and you know what? It ended up getting to the point where I made a name for myself on the streets, just fighting, get to the point where dudes would pull up at my house and want to box, right? There was always a new kid. There was always someone who wanted to test it. And um, my dad used to basically set up the fights in the backyard, right? I would be on probation and he'd be like, nah, nah, he ain't going to jail. He ain't like, they would want me to go to the park, right? And he'd be like, just come in the back. We got a 6 foot fence. And if he starts whooping you, I'll stop it. And then he used to,
Yeah.
he was a savage, bro. So it was
Yeah.
like, it was a different time, right? It's not
Yeah.
something you would ever think about doing that now as a kid,
Yeah, yeah. No, the
to a kid,
Italians
right?
get down. They get down, but again, I can relate because in the projects out front and stuff, my older brothers would set us up, and even my homeboys, dudes I loved, I was cool with, my best friends, they had us boxing, bare knuckle boxing. Eventually, we went and got some gloves and did it the right way, but we were out there scrapping every day. Like, if there was no enemies around and no one we had beef with, we would just fight each other for fun. It was just a part of it came with the territory,
Absolutely, absolutely.
but I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world because it made me who I am. It made me resilient, and
Yeah,
persevere through shit that you would never think you'd be able to get through. But I've been there, I've done that. If I could get through that, I could get through anything type shit.
right.
And out here in Boston, there's a big, big Italian presence out here, along with the Irish. But it's like it's a little competition. We fuck with each other. I got a big, big Italian family on one side, and we fuck with each other a little bit. We'll talk our shit, and but it's all love. It's all respect because there's a lot of similarities between the cultures, and very
Absolutely.
old school, and it's all about respect, honor, integrity. You know, you know
Mm,
how it goes.
yes, sir. Yes, that's how Denver is. Basically, the Irish were the first to settle North Denver, right? So they have a very big presence, and then the Mexicanos came later. So, I mean, I grew up around a lot of Irish brothers. There's Mount Carmel Church. They always have the Irish the feasts. They do at least four of them over here in North Denver a year. So
Wow.
it's cool. I got some uncles who are Italian, and it's a vibe for sure, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. They get busy, bro. They get busy. The old school Italians get busy. But so what was it like growing up? What about school? You get in trouble in school or you do good or
Man, I was a good kid, brother. I was a good kid for a while. I was a good kid to the point where I'd say probably at the end of grade school, right? I started hanging out with the wrong. Started noticing some bullies in the area, right? Always want to take advantage of put a beating on you. And I think the first time I got in trouble was in grade school. Me and my boy jumped this kid, bro. He was. You ever know them kids that are like they're fully mature? They're in the sixth grade, but dude already rocking a beard like yours.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Just super mature, already all
Yeah.
muscular. And this kid, he basically he was throwing me beatings all the time, right? And he was starting to get off on it, bro. And then one day he caught me after school, but I had some little weapons hid all over the school grounds, bro. I'd stashed weapons during like the weekends, and he went to throw me down, and he had me by my neck, and my boy cracked him in the back with the skateboard, and we got on him, bro. And I put I pulled one of these little, I don't know if you ever seen those little knives, them little old timer knives. They're like little toe pickers.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
grandpa or your uncle might have gave you one. It says old timer on it. It's got the
Yeah, yeah.
ivory handle.
The little tiny joints.
Yeah, little ivory handle. And I busted that out and I had him by his neck, bro. And I was like acting like I was gonna stick him with it. And he
Yeah.
started crying, bro. He started crying and he ran home to his mom and dad and they filed charges on me. That was the
They learn
first like
quick.
incident. Yeah,
They learn quick. They only pick on. They only get away with what you let them get away with, right? Like people that
for
are
sure.
bullies and shit like that. They're gonna try people, but once you try them back and show them I ain't laying down, we're gonna fight. Usually they start avoiding you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you used to face that shit head on. Like I never ran with the crowd or went the easy route. I would always like go against the grain. Like if dude was outnumbered, I stick up for the underdog. I'd rather be the underdog than just get it easy. Even playing basketball or boxing somebody, I'd rather go up against somebody better than me so I get better. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
so that seems that yeah. So hiding the weapons all around the neighborhood in the school, that's some old school stuff right there. That's legendary. But so is that your first like run in with the law?
Yeah. Basically, that was one of my first times. I ended up getting like probation. Um, it was crazy. I had to get a lawyer and everything, bro. And that was my first stand. That's like, and then junior high school came. Then I really started like, you know, I became old enough for the older kids to notice me, right? The older
Right.
kids to notice me and see the value or whatever. And you know how the older kids is. They'll pit you against older kids. They want to see if you got the heart. You know what I mean? They setting up the little, like you said, the boxing matches between the homies. The big homies are telling the little homies to get it.
One
And
hundred percent.
yeah. After my dad came around, bro, I started like making a name for myself. That was around junior high school, and I was a talented kid, bro. I could play. I played sports. You know what I mean? So I lived that like double lifestyle. I would play sports. I would play ball, play football, play basketball, and and then also, you know, kind of hang out with the boys. I wasn't like validated or on the set yet, but that took place a couple years later. But yeah, just basically making a name for yourself for being tough and you know getting down with anyone, basically win, lose or draw.
Yeah, and you know how it goes. We're not glorifying this stuff, but when you're a
No,
product of your environment and you just grew up that way, you have no regrets because it kind of makes you the man you are. You know what I mean? Like I
totally,
wouldn't
for
change
sure.
anything for the world. I grew up real tough, but I wouldn't change it for the world because it made me who I am. I learned from my mistakes. You know, I learned from the good and bad. As long as you're learning, it's never L's. You take an L, you turn that into a lesson. It's never a loss. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you was good in school. You did the sports, but you was still in the streets. You still throwing hands. When's the next time you got in trouble?
Man, I kind of avoided the law, brother. I got lucky, right? I
Hell yeah.
There was a couple times, you know, I got in a couple high speed chases, start stealing cars and sound a little dope here and there.
Right.
Um, I never got caught for any of that. For sometimes I always had like luck on my side, right? And then
Oh,
um, basically got hemmed up at about 15, 16 for a 9 millimeter handgun, bro. I had just got my license. I had the 9 milli on me, bro, and the cops pulled me over and found the gun under my passenger seat. And that was the first time I learned a lesson about how fools don't really roll with you, right? Like how motherfuckers will snitch on you in a heartbeat. And it
Yeah,
was sad because it was my own cousin, right? My own cousin. Like
yeah,
the cops rolled us up, bro, and they found the gun under his seat, and they were telling him they were gonna charge him. And he was like, "Tell him whose gun it is. Tell him whose gun it is, homie. Tell him whose gun it is." And I was like, "Shit, I don't know whose gun that is, homie." Like, you know what
yeah.
I mean? So, but he and he was older than me, bro. He's older
Right.
than me. Straight ratted on me, bro. I was like, "Damn, dude."
And a
So it was
lot
a
of people
lesson
don't.
learned, right?
Yeah, that's a tough lesson to learn, and a lot of people don't realize that. Like, even when you're in a situation like that, if someone doesn't straight up say, "Hey, that's his gun," even if there's just, let's just hypothetically, if there's just two of us and you find a piece and I say it ain't mine, I'm insinuating that it's yours, right? There's only two of us. That's what
Yeah,
they call dry snitching, if you will. You know what I mean?
yeah. I said, I don't know whose it is, right? I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know whose it
I
is.
don't know
Shit,
how that got there.
I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like,
You
he's
put
over
that
there.
shit there.
Whose gun is it? You know, you're basically insinuating, saying, I know whose gun it is. It's mine, right? Like, what the
Right.
fuck? Yeah. So
So eventually, unfortunately, or like I said, we learn from everything. So eventually, you had to sit down and do some time, right?
I got some jail time for that. I got slapped on the wrist again, bro. You know what I mean? I got slapped on the wrist. I got some juvie time, but then they gave me probation, right? And shit, bro, I think I was only in juvie for like 45 days, and then I got out. And shit, bro, they slapped me on the wrist. I was a juvenile. The gun didn't have nothing on it, right? It was brand new, bro.
Right.
It was. I had just bought that gun. I didn't even think I had it like 2 weeks, bro, and it got took by the cops. And you know what was crazy is the cop who got me was my sister's boyfriend.
Oh
He
man,
was dating my sister, bro. This fool was dating my sister.
that's a bad hit.
Right, right. And he was
That's a
clowning
bad.
too, bro. He was clowning on me. He was trying to clown me, bro. And I seen him after that happened. I seen him at my house picking up my sister and shit. I wanted to beat the brakes off him.
Like,
I was
you
like, I'll
should
beat
know,
the fuck
bro.
out of you.
I'm coming heavy. Come on, man.
Yeah. I kicked him out the crib. I was like, get the fuck out of my house, motherfucker. My sister got pissed. And he was like, yeah, whatever, tough guy. I was like, yeah, whatever, pussy. Was like, I'll beat the shit out of you, bud. And he was a little punk, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was a little punk too. He might
yeah,
have mopped me up, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? I had to talk my shit.
yeah. Hell yeah, you gotta pop your shit. You know what I mean? So I know, going to jail, going to prison is one thing, but how is the juvenile out here? We got like DYS.
Yeah, it's called see they got a youth offender program, but that's for like harsher criminals that commit murder, stuff like that, the harsher offenses, right? Straight up juvenile time is just like Gilliam. They got Lookout Mountain. They used to have one more, I forgot, JCYC. I did a little time in the Gill for that one, and just it's vicious, right? Those kids, a lot of those kids don't have no upbringing, right? They're just they're being groomed to go somewhere else. They're going to the big place, right?
Right.
Those kids are hardened to the core already, bro. And they're kind
Yeah.
of like the projects, right? Those kids are hard. They don't have much, right? So they're always a little tougher. They're always
Yeah.
fucking a little more,
On
um,
edge.
yeah, yeah. So you already know it's doggy dog in there too.
Yeah, and they're gonna fight for whatever little they got or you got or whatever's around. It's we scrapping over scraps, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So they got busy in the juvenile.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know what? The adults really didn't give a shit back then, bro. They didn't care. They let you go lock it down in the cell and get them up. And they'd
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, did you get it out of use? Did you get it out of use?" You know what I mean? And then if you didn't, then they go run your ass in the gym and work the shit out of you. You know what I mean? Till you throw up. Eventually, like basically,
Wow.
if you get down and you still got some some moxie in you, they're gonna go run the shit out of you and make you throw up, get you so sick till your nervous system shuts down. That's pretty much how they used to do it.
That's crazy, man. It's like it's almost like entertainment, but at the same time, there's like let's get that energy out of them. Let's wear them out. If they don't wear themselves out, we'll wear them out because we gotta
Yeah, there
get.
was some G's about theirs. To be honest with you, they were with that G code, right?
I hear that. That's different times, bro. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
back then it was definitely a free for all. It was all about survival. You kind of had to know it. You had to have the kind of had to live it to know it.
Yes, sir.
So after that, run me through what had transpired. You got out. You tried to
Got
try to
out, brother.
straighten out.
Yeah, just at 16, I was young, bro. But I was still in high school, right? I hadn't dropped out yet, and I started selling weed. I had a homie that used to get, the bricks. This back with brick weed was the shit, right? No, there was no fucking chronic. There was no fucking no. Yeah, it was all swag
That
back
Reggie
then.
Bush, yeah, that commercial.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, swag was that's all you was getting is Mexican swag. So,
Yeah, yeah, that Mexican
I
brick
had a
pack.
homie. Yeah, he used to pick up pounds, and when he would be done with the pound, right, when he'd get down to the nitty gritty, there would always be like an ounce of shake with some shake and seeds.
The
And
shake,
he
yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
yeah, he didn't like to fuck with it, right? He didn't even want to fuck with it. He was like, nah. And so I hit him up and I was like, hey, bro, he had like five of them in his fridge, right? They were just sitting in the crisper. And I was like, hey, bro, that shake weed, I used to buy it when I didn't have no money, right? I would buy that just so I could smoke. And you're a youngster, you don't have no money, you got a car, you putting gas in the car, you don't really have much, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, sound me those, you're not doing shit with them, right? So hook me up for $50. I'll buy each ounce for 50. So I bought 2 ounces for 50. I spent 100. I remember I didn't have no money for paper, so I went to the store and I stole a big old box of zigzags and smashed out. And you know what was crazy, dog? I didn't know how to roll. I didn't know how to roll joints back then.
Oh
I
man,
didn't know.
yo,
Yeah.
zigzag trying
Yeah,
to.
and this is gonna make you laugh, bro. My mom used to roll my joints, bro. My mom at
Oh
that age
shit.
used to roll my joints. And I remember me and her got into it. She was like, "Fuck you, you little motherfucker! I ain't rolling shit for you, you little." She was like, "You little bastard! I ain't rolling you nothing."
You gonna
So,
learn today.
yeah, I was like, "Yeah, kiss my ass. I get it myself." So I went and got a shoebox. I dumped that shit in there, cleaned it out, and man, I sat there until I think probably went through a book of papers before I actually got it,
Yeah.
and rolled them up. You know what I mean? Shit, I think I ended up getting like shit, bro. I got a good number of joints, homie. I got like maybe about a close to 100 joints. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Next day, went to school, bro. Hung out at Viking Park. I used to go to the North High School, and it's the North High School Vikings. Yeah, shout out to the Vikings. But we there was a park across the street. It's called Viking Park, and everyone used to chill for lunch or whatnot. They'd hang out there before class. Bro, I
Right.
sold them joints within like shit, bro. They were gone within an hour before I even had to get to
Yeah,
class. three
yeah,
bucks a
that's
piece.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy because when I first started selling bud when I was a youngster in elementary school, I was selling pre rolls before there was pre rolls. I would fill up a
Yeah,
cigarette pack, $5 a piece, bro, and fucking get
yeah,
them off all day. And that's how
yes,
it all
sir.
started, bro. When you get that little bit of taste of money, money's an addiction, just like any drug or gambling. Money's an addiction. So once you
Yeah,
get that taste for it, it's over.
yes. So you know what? Make shit. I more than tripled my money. Right? Walked out of there with like $250. Walked back. Got my homeboy. Got the other two zips, and then I just kept it rolling. Right? Just kept it rolling. Um, that was good for a while. That was good for a while. Right? And then as like a and around that same time, bro, like you said, money gets to be an addiction, bro. I had another dude that I hooked up with. And these all these cats are older than me, right? These are all cats. Think about them, 16, 17. These are dudes who are
Right.
25, 26 years old. And I come across another dude named Tim. He's like the neighborhood dealer. He's the one above my guy, right? And it was crazy because he would always see me lifting weights and shit. And then he would it was weird when I would be hanging out with my boy, he would always come over and then try to you ever have that dude that tried to persuade you to go hang with him and leave the other homie, even though he met you through that homie? But
Right.
he would shun that dude. He gonna shun that dude. Let's me and you go hang out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was one of those dudes who bought his friends, right? And at first I had my homie. I was like, man, is that dude? Is he sideways or what? Kind of that kind of giving me a bad vibe, homie. Like, you know what I mean? Is he one of those seat sniffers or what? And the homie was like, nah, he's one of those dudes. He can't be alone, bro. And I basically told the homie, I was like, I don't like how he did that, bro. How he like pushed you to the side and wanted me to go, like, come on, Connor, let's go. I got some. And he would have the killer. He would have the dank, right? He had the money for it. He'd be like, we'll go smoke some kill. We'll go lift some weights, homie. And I'd be like, nah, I'm cool. I'm over here chilling with the homie. And I never really took him up off of it, right? But eventually I started buying pounds from that dude, bro. And I remember he got some real sticky ick. He got some nice, swag, bro. It was like nice. had the good
That hydro
smell.
shit back in the
Yeah,
day,
it
they had
wasn't
that
hydro, but
orange.
it was nice for some swag, right?
Right, right.
Not so many seeds, smelled real good. And he had them, bro. And I remember pounds were going for like roughly 500-600 at that time, right? 5, 6 to 700.
Yep.
And I was
The
like, hey,
good old
homie,
days.
yeah, right. So I was like, hey, homie, let me get one of those. And he was like, I need mine up front. And I was like, don't even trip. I have. He goes, I'm hitting 9 on these. I'm hitting like 9, 1,000 on these. So I was just typically grabbing them for anywhere from 5 to 7. And I was like, look, homie, I got like 650 the first couple zips. I said, I'll come and take care of you, homeboy. And he was hanging with some other dudes and he like clowned on me, bro. He like laughed and he was like, shit, I need all my chippers. I can't be fronting you, homie. Can't be carrying your little ass. He was like getting a laugh on me. And
Right.
I was like, this motherfucker's trying to, what the fuck, you playing me, homie? And even though he's older, right? I didn't take kindly to it. I was like, fuck that motherfucker. So a couple of days later, bro, I went back and got all his shit. I went and relieved him of all his product. And he
Run
had he
that.
had some white in there too. So he was doing the white, the green, and let's just say I relieved him of his product, homie. And he kind of knew who did it. I stopped fucking with him. He didn't want no, I don't know, bro. He was like scared of me. I remember I chased him home one time from like North High School, and I was already dropped out. And he used to go pick up high school chicks, bro. He was an older dude. He was one of those weirdos, right? He'd go pick up high school chicks. He would go drop his lady off, then he'd go pick up high school. He'd go cruise the high school and get young girls to go smoke with him and shit. And
Oh
God knows
man.
the dude is probably a fucking weirdo, bro.
Right.
So I don't feel bad by getting him, but I remember I seen him, dog, and he kind of like tried to like, well, what's up? And I chased him home in the F-150. I had an F-150, and I chased him in that shit, bro. And I pulled up on him, and I drew down on him. I'm glad I didn't shoot homie because he got out of the car and he had a little kid with him, bro. He had a kid. He
Oh
pulled the kid out
shit.
of the car, right? And I seen the kid and I booked, bro. I'm glad I didn't, because my first instinct
Yeah.
was just to dump into the car, right? And I'm glad I held it together on that one, bro. He pulled that kid out and I was gone. I mean, I didn't pull the strap on him at all, but I was about
Yeah.
to light him up.
And that's crazy, bro. Just for him to put the kid in that situation, like if you got a kid with him, now ain't the time to be like, "What's up, homie?" It's
Why?
like, "Yo, I'll
Yeah,
catch you
why you
later.
flexing,
I'll see
homie?
you
Yeah,
later." You shouldn't be flexing. He should have just took off. So it's like, how were you supposed to know? And
yeah,
obviously, once you seen what was up, you kept it pushing. So I respect that. But we ain't mind readers, you know what I mean? So it's like he shouldn't have put himself or that kid or you in that position because he's lucky he got someone cool like you that understands his family man,
yeah.
etc. Because not everybody's gonna be like that. They really
No,
don't
for
care.
sure.
There's some crazy people out there.
Yes, sir.
So what was that around middle school, high school?
Oh, I'm already in high school, brother. At that point, I'd already dropped out of high school, probably 17, 18, right? Pushing
Right.
that. So got a little taste for that coke money, right? Got a little taste for that white money.
That's when it
And
changed.
I'm not gonna lie, I liked it, bro. So there was a Mexican restaurant, right? And it was called Burrito Giant. Well, I had a homie Frank that I had hooked up with. He was my mom's camarada, right? He was an old man. But he was my mom's, like, he used to be my mom's muscle back in the day.
Right.
So he had the peasies and he was like hooking me up real cheap, right? Well, 7, 6, but this is when everybody else had went bottom up, right? There used to be a time everyone was dry. The
Yep.
homie, the homie, the homie seemed like he had it all the time, right? He had it all the time. And sometimes his prices would be outrageous, right? And I would pay it.
You
And
can do that when there's a drought. No doubt.
yeah, yeah. So what happened was my sister started working at that restaurant, right? And she tells me, hey, my sister speaks Spanish and stuff, and she's like, I think Alfredo owns that. And, he was an old border brother named Alfredo. He probably dead by now, but he owned that restaurant. And my sister was like, he's the plug. And I was like, what? And she was like, no, he's the plug. I heard him talking. He's the plug. He's getting all his shit from Alfredo. Well, this dude Alfredo, he wanted to scheme on my sister. He used to tell my sister, hey, I'll buy you a house. You'll be set up. You won't have to worry about nada. But he wasn't, he didn't have the look. So my sister didn't want
Right.
him, didn't want, but she would have been treated like a princess. But you know how
Kind of
women are,
sell the
bro.
dream.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I tell my sister, hey, introduce me to him, invite him to the house, and you make the introduction, and that way I can get in his ear, and you know what? Let's see what happens. So my sister invites him to dinner. He comes over because he's scheming on the sister, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So he comes over and we start chopping it up, and I tell him, look, I do this, this, and that. I can do this, this, and that. So he was like, okay, tomorrow. And I go, tomorrow? And he goes, yeah, tomorrow. And I said, okay. Bro, the next day, homie, his dude shows up in the food truck in the van, and the Schaefer, those Schaefers that they put the food in,
yeah,
fucking Schaefer just full of pounds, homie, like 10 pieces in that bitch. He
yeah. He
fucking
want to
he
show
gave me
out.
yeah, he gave me 10 pieces on the strength, bro. I'm a youngster, dog. He gave me 10 pieces on the strength. Uh that shit was gone in like a day, 2 days, bro. Gone. Gone.
Taking that and running with it.
Yeah.
Sober.
Bro, broke him his cash. 3 days later, boom, another 10. Another 10. 20, because then he starts bringing 20s, right? He brings two Schaefers. So, and he used to come over, and then he'd come over to collect his feria. He'd be like, I like you. I like you. You're muy rapido with the money. You're muy rapido with the feria.
Yeah,
Thank
hell
you.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, hell yeah. So would get him his money. And then one day I hit him up and I said, what's up on the weddle, homie? What can we do on the weddle? And he said, yeah, I got you, right? I got
Hell
you.
yeah.
So he brings me a birdie, bro. Couple days later, about 4 or 5 days later, he shows up. His boy shows up with a birdie. Boom, drops it to me. So it was on and cracking, brother. I had it coming from all ends. Um, but again, like you said, it's intoxicating, right? It gets to the point
Yeah,
you get too big for your bridges, and
yeah.
you start getting out of pocket, right? You start living above your means. You don't have a job, but you're driving a fucking badass car. You're driving a $20,000 whip. This is like
Start drawing
1990.
unwanted
Yeah, these
attention
are the
and shit.
90s, right? So yeah, it
Yeah,
ain't expensive as they are today, but you're
right,
driving a whip that you have no business driving. You have no job. You have no proof of no income.
right,
Um, and I was just living raw, homie. I was living raw. You know what I mean? And um, eventually, uh, cops started paying attention. Right? I got set up in the steam, and they caught me with like a quarter bird. They caught me with a quarter bird and a lot of money, right? Because I didn't have the product. Again, we was dealing with the drought,
right.
but yeah, not the same dude. This is after like later, bro. This is later. I
Yeah,
start, I man, brother, I had my hand in everything, right? It got to the
yeah.
point where I wasn't even gang banging no more. I was so focused on the hustle and the money, bro.
Money. Yeah, that's
I didn't.
I was on that
Yeah,
money shit. I was on my
yeah,
Bibs to play like money, money, hustler, hustler, hustler. Let's get it, like
yeah,
money, money, money. But
yeah.
like you said, when you start living above your means, like a project kid driving this nice whip, you got the nice girls, the nice clothes, the jewelry, nothing on paper, no job. You know what I mean? No career. They're gonna start paying attention. You're gonna start getting unwanted attention,
Yes, sir.
and especially when you get caught up and you got the product and the money at the same time, it's always gonna end the same way. It's gonna be all bad. You know what I mean? So let's get into that. What was your first real hit that ended? Setting you up.
Shit. So they start paying attention, brother. I had a little neighborhood, right, where I would have a bird, but I would break it down into teeners and balls and
Yeah,
quarter zip, right? I would rarely would I sell a zip and a half, brother. I had a neighborhood that was so hot, bro. I mean, this is the crack era, right? The peak of the
right.
crack era. These fools was just eating it up, bro. And
Yeah,
I would stay up all night, bro. I'd end up selling 5, 6 ounces in a night just in teeners, balls,
yeah.
quarter ounces, half ounces. Um, and it was popping, bro. But eventually, they infiltrated me. There was a cop named Mike Gasman. That was what they called him, Mike Gasman. And he looked
That don't
like
sound good,
ZZ.
bro.
He looked like that dude from ZZ Top, bro. Big ass beard, big old flame trotter beard, fucking hair tied up, salt and pepper, bro. You would never think dude was a cop, homie. That
Right.
was like he was a chameleon, right? And I never sold to him, bro, but I did see him at a couple times when I dropped shit, right? Where I would drop shit and change money and bounce. And I seen him a couple times. And I rolled out. Um, the day I got hit, bro, I was trying to get some shit, right? And They ended up getting my dope dealer, right? They ended up getting the dude who was bringing me the shit. They had him. They already had him hemmed up. He literally brings me a quarter bird. Because it's supposed. This is why I think he brings me the quarter bird. I don't think he wanted to lose a full bird to get off of a fucking. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So he's
yeah, yeah.
willing to part with a quarter bird to get me set up, right? To get him
Right.
off the hook. He's still able to be in the game. It cost
Take
him
less
what?
of a hit, but get
Yeah, yeah,
shift the
roughly
attention
8,000,
elsewhere.
$9,000 to get me out of the and get him off the fucking team. So I remember that fucking day like it was yesterday, bro. Fucking, I wake up. I had a 82 82 Tornado on all gold D's, candy cobalt blue, and it was on all gold D's. It had the diamond tuck interior. The fucking cold, bro. The car was cold. So
Yeah, that's me.
it was sitting under the tree for a couple months because I had to have the carburetor replaced, and it got some tree shit on it, some gunk. So I called the detailer, and the detailer, I think the detailer was involved too, bro. I think it was all like, it was weird, bro. But I called the detailer to come and detail my whip. So he was getting shit ready. And supposedly he was out of supplies, right? He was out of supplies. He was like, I'm out of supplies, bro. I got them coming. They're going to deliver them. Now, this is before the internet, bro. We're talking fucking
Right.
1996, 97. So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, my dude shows up with the quarter bird, and I'm sitting there and I got some weed, bro, and I'm breaking it up, and it's some skunk, and I'm throwing down, boom, boom, boom. And he's like, "What's up?" He throws it on the table, and I was like, "Your money's right there." I point to his cash, right? And he grabs it. He don't even count it. That's what was weird, bro, because this dude was always like,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know what I'm
seeing the
saying?
red flags. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
bro. I seen how he rolls. He never did that. He always count that shit out. Boom, 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 boom. Well, he goes, "Oh, I got you. Don't even trip." And I said, "You ain't gonna count it?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was getting ready for a shower. I was like, "You want to smoke?" And he was like, "Nah, I kind of got to get out of here." And I was like, "Don't leave right away, fool. Shit, smoke this one with me."
Right, right, right.
And I heard a truck rolling up, which I thought it was the people delivering the supplies, right? It was one of these old milk trucks, like, you know, them old box milk trucks, like an old ice cream truck.
Oh man.
It was the SWAT team, dog. And all I heard was, "Get the fuck on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground." And I had my pit bull outside. I had my pit bull outside, and I heard the shot, boom. And I heard my pit
No.
yell, like cry, bro. And I was like, "What the
Damn.
fuck was that, bro?" I jumped up. So in the report, they were saying basically, they were saying, hold on. In the report, they were basically saying that the CI told him that I was on edge, and don't just go at night, right? Because he got guns all over. It's gonna be a shootout. So I jumped up right away, bro. I didn't have no peace on me, and I
Right,
ran to the bedroom, bro, and I heard him hitting the door. I thought I was getting robbed, homie. I'll be honest with
right.
you. I thought I was getting robbed. So I ran through the kitchen, ran through the bathroom, ran into the back living room, and I went to my closet. And I was getting the SKS out. I had this big ass Russian SKS, and I had the 100 round drum on that bitch, bro. I had a bunch of 30 rounders and 100. My thing was, I used to go to the gun shows, bro. When I get extra money, I go to the gun show. So I was selling guns too, right? I was slanging the guns along with the Yip and the Yale. And this was in the time back in the day. If you remember, you could buy a gun private sale, right? As long as you didn't buy it from a gun dealer with a gun
Yeah,
license, you can do private sale here in Colorado. Which
yeah,
means if you were just selling one, I said, "Hey, I want to buy it." Boom, we just connect. I do a bill of sale. Boom, you know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
mine.
And them gun
So
shows were legendary. You
yes,
know,
yes,
that's
that's
everybody
where I
was
used to
hit.
get them. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. So I'm over here loading up the 100 round drum, and I'm in the closet getting ready to come out and be fucking. I was about to be Scarface, right, bro?
Rambo
I'm
with it.
telling,
Yeah.
and bro, all of a sudden the door kicks in, bro, and it's a fucking. I didn't even know who he was, but he had one of those OGs, bro, with those ones that load from the back, them rifles. He
That
had one of those
Terminator
OGs, and he
shit.
came in. Yeah, and I seen police, bro. It said police on his
Oh
back. And
man.
I was like that, bro. And he's like, "What are you doing, motherfucker? Put that shit down. Put a bullet in your head." And I went like that. I set it down. I was like, "Cool." And I got up, bro. And he fucking booted me. Boom, right in the face, homies. And I fell down and he put me in the corner, bro. And he just boot. Bro, he brought his boys in. He was like, "Look what this motherfucker was getting." And he showed it to him, bro. And they fucking just
Yeah.
started they had me in the corner. I was getting booted by like 4 or 5 dudes, bro.
We
They were
know
just
we
putting
know
this
back in
combat.
the day it was normal, not to cut you off, but back in the day it was normal to get your ass beat by police.
Oh,
But
yeah.
me you and I know you're lucky you didn't get shot.
No,
But
for sure.
let me just go back to this because you know me, I got four pits. I love my dogs. You know what I'm saying? They shot the dog, bro.
Yeah, they killed him, bro. They killed him.
Damn, man. I like dogs better than I like people, bro. That
No,
shit that hurts my heart,
and
bro.
they had to, bro. They couldn't gain entry to the yard with him
Yeah,
there. They he was gonna
yeah,
fuck him up. He's a fucking fat head, big old head, red nose, right? He would have been on him, bro.
yeah.
His name was Spartacus. His name was
Spartacus.
Spartacus. Yeah. He's a
Spartacus,
beast.
that's a monster. Yo, that's
Yeah.
crazy. The same thing happened to my homeboy had a pit bull named Maximus, and we was like up to no good in his hood, and the cops were outside digging through his trash. In the big red nose pit, he had a head like a bear, kid,
Yeah.
huge,
Yeah.
humongous head, and the dog charged the cop, and the cop just let off. And there was a big commotion. Even my homeboy's father got into it. They were beefing with the cops, and the cop was basically like, "Listen, like, I ain't gonna mention what I found in your trash. You ain't gonna mention this. We're both gonna walk away tonight, live to fight another day." And it was like such a bad hit. We were all trying to squabble up over the dog, but you know what I'm saying, cooler heads had to prevail. We would have, my homeboy would have, got arrested for assaulting a police
That's a
officer.
war you can't win, basically, right? It's gonna be
It
a
was
lot of
all bad.
casualties
It
or
was a
whatnot.
bad hit, but that lingered for a while. Like the loss of that dog was like, Max, that was a bad hit.
Give me one moment, brother. I'm just gonna grab some real quick.
Yeah, take your time. Hey, shout out to everyone in the chat. You know where it's at. Scandalous World Podcast. Your guy, Blue Eyes. Let me take a minute. Sandra, salute. Kathy, salute. Allie, salute. Aaron,
All
salute.
right. I'm back. Salute to the
SOJ,
chat, man. Thank y'all for tapping in.
Smokey, Bigfoot, Yolanda, Tommy Thunder, everybody. Isaac, that girl. Hey, man. Appreciate you all. Salute.
Yeah, so they plugged my dog, bro. They beat the shit out of me. They tear my house apart, right? And like I said, I'm a youngster, don't have much money. This time I'm about my 20s, right? About my early 20s. I'm like 21. I think I'm 21. And yeah, I'm 21. And they tear apart my house, bro. They I have that with the big screen projections. Remember the big screen projectors? Those
Oh,
were the
man.
yeah, I had a big
You
ass
was really on the
Panasonic.
Scarface shit.
Yeah, yeah, they cut a big old. That dude goes, "That's a nice TV." One of them SWAT dudes are high strung, bro. They're the wolves that hunt the other wolves, right? These are
When
the
they come
real
out,
motherfuckers. Yeah.
they coming heavy with bad intentions.
Oh
They ain't
yeah.
coming to
Oh
play.
yeah. They'll be. Yeah. They don't care. They going
They're
home, right?
bringing
They're
the
there to
heavy
kick your ass.
artillery. They ain't wasting no time.
No, no. They with the shits, and it freaked them out, bro. All the shit I had when they started pulling out my artillery, bro. They're like, "This motherfucker had a fucking arsenal. You fucking piece of shit." They were, and I was able. He was like, "What were you gonna?" The reason I got booted, he goes, "What were you gonna do with that, motherfucker?" And I go, "I was gonna tap your bitch ass," and he fucking kicked me. Boom, beat the shit out of me, bro. They stomped me out. I watch him tear apart my house. They cut my big screen with the knife. Dude looks at it, he tells his partner, "That's a nice picture, huh?" And he goes, "Check this out." He grabs his knife and he takes it all the way and makes like an X on my shit, bro. Cuts a big old hole in the screens, right?
Oh man.
Just fucks my shit up. Cuts up my leather couches. Um, I had this black table with these balls. They were like it was like a black lacquer table, and it had a
Yeah.
glass tabletop, but it rested on these like balls.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
fucking yeah, bro, they smashed a statue through it, broke that shit. They just destroyed my shit, bro. I had a badass. This is when Onkyo rack system or a Kenwood rack system. When you had your system, you had your big old house system. We
Right.
didn't have MP3s and all that shit back then. So he goes, "That's a nice rack, bro. How much is that, bro? That Onkyo?" And he fucking grabs it and just slams it on the ground. Homie just takes it, boom, just smashes my shit, dog.
That's a bad hit, bro.
Yeah.
That's a bad hit. But seeing what you had, they know they could have got lit up from the tit up, so they had to
Oh
proceed with
no, they were
caution.
doing the most for sure. I get it. You know what I mean? It's a
Of
lesson,
course.
right? A lesson. A lesson. It was an owl and a lesson and a loss at the same
Oh yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes that they go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm assuming that's when you end up having to go do some time. Excuse me.
It was, bro. But here's the thing: I got out on bond, right? I make bond. I get out.
That must have
Um,
been a hefty bill.
It was. So the first time, bro, they threw me like a 30,000, right? I get out, I make the bond. I'm cool. Um, I don't get right back to business. I'm like, fuck, I gotta be cool,
Nah,
right?
that's when they're watching.
No, for sure. So I don't do nothing, but there was a lot of residual shit they left behind, right? Some bullets. They left some broken scales. They left some old fucking cell phones. They left some residual evidence around my house, and I didn't clean it, right? I didn't get rid of all that shit. And I'm going to court. I think it's like maybe 40 days later, maybe 30, right? Going to my first court date, and I got my lawyer. I'm lawyered up. Um, and fucking I'm getting ready to drive to court, bro, and I start taking off. I go stop at a phone booth, make a call. My bondsman calls me, and he's like, "Dude, what the fuck? You missed court yesterday." And I was like, "Motherfucker, I didn't miss court." And he goes, "Yeah, you did." I go, "I got the court receipt right here, motherfucker." He goes, "Conrad, you were supposed to be at court yesterday." I go, "Dude, I'm looking at the receipt right now. I'm looking at the fucking ticket the clerk gave me. It's for tomorrow." He goes, "You're sure?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm fucking looking at it as I'm talking to you, right?" All right, cool. So I leave the next morning. I go to the phone booth, make a call, and I head out. I call my mom, and I'm like, in case they hit me up, because I'm walking in the court, and they think I jumped, right? So I'm like,
Right.
if they hit me up, you know what to do. You got the other money. Money's put away. You know the combo to the safe, everything. Cool. I take off, bro, and cops pull me over, right? I think it's just a traffic stop. I'm not hit. I'm like, fuck, I think it's a traffic stop. And they take me back to my house, bro. They pull me out. I'm like, I'm going to court right now. Boom, boom, boom. They didn't want to hear it. They gaffle me up. They tow my whip. They take me back to the house. And when I get to the house, they're already inside my house, bro. The fucking cops are already searching, dog. And the fucking DA himself is there. The DA
Oh
himself
shit.
is right there,
That's when you
bro.
know it's about to be all bad.
Oh no, for sure. So I walk in, and they look, they grab the bullets. They're like, "You're slanging again." I was like, "It sounds shit. I don't know what you're talking about, bro." And they search for a while, right? They don't find nothing. They're frustrated. And this cop comes out. This cop comes out with some fucking with some white girl. Comes out with
Oh
some white. And he's like, "Yeah, what's it?" And it's wrapped up in newspaper, dog. It's like in a newspaper, and it's a chunk of coke, dog. And he goes, "What's this, motherfucker?" "Yeah, we got you." And he shows it to me. And he goes, "What's this?" And I go, "Shit, that ain't mine." I said, "I keep my coke in fucking plastic like fucking normal people. I don't know what the fuck you got there. Some newspaper?" I go, "Let me see that." I go, "Let me see it." He put it up. Stupid motherfucker put it up by my face, dog. And I went like that. If it would have been a powder, it would have blew everywhere. But I try to blow it, right? I go, and I blow it, bro, and the rock pops out, bro. The rock pops out of the paper, and I go to stomp it, bro. And I get fucking rushed by 6 cops again. Just boom, battle round. And they start putting the boots on me again. I Because I
yeah.
went to stomp the coke, bro, but they got me right before I could put my foot down on it. They slammed me, bro. I wasn't
Yeah,
fast
nice
enough.
shot.
Yeah. So they take me back to jail on another case, bro, on another possession with intent to distribute. They they don't serve me with my warrant till I'm already in the fucking city jail for like fucking 10 hours, bro. Fucking come and serve me 10 hours later with my warrant, bro, after they searched my house, legally searched my house. Um, I think they wanted me to snitch, you know what I mean? They were
Right.
trying to get some leverage on me to say,
Of
"We got
course.
you, we want some people." And shit, I wasn't with that. I was like, "Nah, I ain't doing all that. You got me fucked up." Got me fucked up. So they tried to like make a correlation to the mob. Like the mob doesn't even sell dope, and it's
Right.
not it's not honorable. And this sounds like fucking no one cares about honorable, but go fuck yourself. I ain't the
Yeah.
mob. I ain't going. I
I'm
ain't
out
going
here
to snitch.
making money. Like,
Yeah.
what you doing? Oh, I'm
So,
just trying to survive. What the fuck? But they're trying
yeah.
to get in your head. They're trying to hold your feet to the fire, so to speak.
Yeah.
Trying to get
So
in your head and get you worked up.
absolutely. So they have a thing called Denver Drug Court at this time, right? It was Denver
Yep.
Drug Court. It was funded through the Joe Biden when he federally funded a lot of the states for the coke epidemic. They were giving drug dealers and drug offenders more time than they were giving fucking murderers and robbers,
Yep.
bro.
Yep.
I go to this Denver drug court, bro, and I got like I think it's like a fucking $250,000 bond, bro. 250 racks. Um, I
Damn.
still have my lawyer, right? My lawyer's paid. Uh, unless we got to go to trial, we're gonna have to drop some more coin on him.
That's
And
still 250.
yeah, it was a lot of the weapons, and then because I didn't show up that initial day, but I
Right.
had the paper, right? We had the paper. My lawyer showed it to him and was like, "Look, you gave him the wrong date." But they didn't give a fuck, bro. They had found other evidence, right? They had found that, and they took all that residual evidence that was sitting there still, and they used that against me, right, to keep me in jail
Of
and
course.
to build another case, right? So um, we go to court a couple times. My lawyer tries to fucking fuck me, bro, and he wants to send me away for 12 years, bro. No, I think it's like 15. He goes, I get you a 15-year deal. And I'm like,
What type of
motherfucker,
deal is that?
I have hardly a fucking any kind of I have any kind of I hardly any juvenile shit, bro. The fuck this
Yeah.
is basically my first time ever really getting
Non-violent
fucked.
crime.
Yeah, and he was like, "Nah, bro, they ain't gonna let you go. They want you." And we went and sat down with the DA, and he was like, "Look, this is an automatic sentence. This is an automatic sentence." He's like, "You got over 120 something years in time right here if for that is mandatory." So they were like, "You're a flight risk. We ain't gonna bond. We ain't gonna let you. We ain't dropping the bond." And he tries to sell me out for a deal for like 15 years, and I'm like, "Fuck you, bro. You're fired." And I was like, "I
You're
want my
taking it
money
to the
back."
hoop. That ain't a deal.
Yeah,
Just for the
no,
people that don't know,
no,
15. We we
no.
we, we're covering a case now on the YouTube streets where somebody took two lives and they got 15
Yeah,
for each. So,
yeah,
but this is a non-violent crime, and like you said back then, they were handing out numbers. They were handing out double digits just for look what
no.
happened to white boy Ricky, one of the longest sentences in Michigan and Detroit for a non-violent crime. You know what I mean?
And because he wouldn't snitch, bro, because he wouldn't give anyone up, and that's why they fucking made an example out of him, bro.
Exactly. I was just gonna say you hit the nail on the head. They want to make an example. You know what I'm saying? To anyone else that might try this shit, this is what we're doing. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So now you got two charges. I'm assuming you go to county. Did you make bail for the 250? Because I don't know
No,
how
no, brother. My lawyer was like,
or
"Hey,
who could do
so I
that.
fire that lawyer. I get another lawyer, right? I get a more high powered lawyer. Dude's high powered, right? His name's Steve Alonzi. Salute to Steve. Um, I get the more high powered lawyer. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna have to break bread, right? Um, get him, and he starts making a deal, right? He gets it to like 9 years, bro. Stipulated sentence, 9 years. uh Stipulated, right? You're stipulating to it, right? Because they had back then they had mandatory parole. So even though my sentence exceeded the it was considered an illegal sentence, but since
Right.
I stipulated to it, because the 9 years plus the 5 years mandatory parole would make
Yeah.
it an illegal sentence. So even if I went to boot camp, whatever, it didn't matter. They were still gonna 9 years. And I was like, fuck it. And I almost fired him, bro, and I almost went with another lawyer. And dude came and talked to me. Him and his partner came and talked to me, Harvey
Probably
Steinberg,
right.
and he was like, "Bro, if you fire Steve and you hire me, you're good, bro. You're fucked, Conrad." He's like, I'm not even. I've read the case file. Steve shared all this shit with me. He goes, "You got one of the best lawyers in Colorado. Don't fire Steve. I can't do you no better than 9 years, Conrad." And if you fire me, I may not even be able to get you that 9 years back. He goes, if you fire Steve, I may not be able to get you that 9 years back. He goes, be smart, bro. And they did. They dropped my bond, right? They tried to do an okey doke on me. They dropped my bond to 100 G's, right? Thinking I was going to go post the 10,000, right? And Steve Alonzi was like, Conrad, do not post that bond, bro. I'm telling you right now, you will open up a floodgate, bro. You are going to be federally fucked. You go post that bond, you are federally fucked. He goes, you're going to spend
Yeah.
10 G's. You cannot explain where it comes from. You're fighting a case for dope. They caught you red handed. He's like, you need to be fucking smart, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, you can bond out. Don't. Why would you bond out? You coming back, homie. You coming
They're paying
back.
attention. Yeah.
You already comfortable. You've been in here already 5 months, 6 months fighting your case. You coming? Why bond out to come back, Conrad? So I got pissed. I went to go try to get another lawyer. Dude told me no. That's probably the best you're gonna get. You're gonna go have to lay it down. Go rest your neck, homie. And
Damn.
I took the 9 year plea bargain, bro. I took the 9 year pleas. I didn't plead to no guns. I didn't plead to no weapons, so I didn't want it to make it seem like you said, nonviolent, right? Sometimes they
Right.
try to use the weapons to make it a violent crime, which you know you do like 85 to 90% of your
Yeah.
time, you
Or
don't
they'll
get the
try to
good time.
prove intent and you won't qualify for certain things and
Yes.
programs. Right.
So I laid it down, homie. I had to take the 9 year deal and shit, that's where I went to prison, bro.
So that's a bad hit. Not as bad as 15, but nine is still
Yeah,
nine.
yeah,
You know, that's still 9 years. How much of the nine did you end up doing? And we'll get into the prison and the jail stuff, but how
yeah.
much of the nine did you end up doing?
I did about 5.5 on that, Ronnie, with all together, a little over 5.5 years.
Yeah.
Roughly about 5 year prison time, right? Got out in '02. This happened roughly 90, end of 96, early 97, and got out in '02. And yeah, brother.
So more than half.
Yeah, I did a little more. Plus, I had to do a 5 year tail. So I did 4 year tail on that. I did a 4 years on parole on that as well.
Damn. Yeah, and that's just a setup. That's a recipe for disaster. Whenever you're on parole or probation, you're gonna really walk on eggshells and be careful because they're looking to just hit you again,
Oh,
get you on
yeah.
the last time that you owe, and plus whatever you do if you do fuck up. So that's why most people like to ride it out. But once you get a chance to get out, you're like, let me just get up out of here and
Yes,
try my
sir.
luck. But when you're on parole and probation, you really can't fuck around because they're really looking to get you. So what was county like? We're gonna get into prison, but what was county jail like? Was that your first real experience with like adult facilities,
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? I did some county time here and there just for little dumb shit, right?
skid
Um,
bids and shit?
yeah, a little 30 days, stuff like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
in there, I knew I wasn't getting out, right? Had a lot of homies, bro. There was a lot of dudes that I knew from the streets in there. So it was like, it was, I hate to say that it was cool, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to make it sound like that to anybody
Right.
listening or any youngster that might come across this. It wasn't cool, man, but I was
No, but
comfortable,
it could
right?
have been worse.
Oh, it could have been way worse, but
It's always good
I
to
was
know
around a
people.
lot of the homies, you know what I mean? And
Right.
and I had money. Some of them had money, so we was eating fat all the time. County time sucks anyways, bro. But um, there's a couple buildings here in Colorado, like Building 8. They knocked that down. That was the oldest part of the county jail. Building 22 was cool, and then I ended up going to 11 Charlie, and it was a dormitory, but it was all felons.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into the prison, but would you say county was a little bit more wild than prison or less?
Oh,
Because it's
way
kind of
wild,
like a
way more
purgatory.
wild. You know what, county?
Yeah.
You know why? Because you got all the cowboys there. Everyone trying to prove themselves.
Right.
Nobody really knows how to do time. Very few convicts, right? That's why a lot of the convicts that would go to county jail, Denver County, would always want to go to Building 8 because it was more like there was more convicts there. There was more dudes
Yeah.
doing structured time. And
Yeah.
11 Charlie, 22 was with the functions, was all the youngsters just beating the shit out of each other, everyone trying to make a name for themselves. It was more like that, right?
Yeah, it's more of like a free for all. My father used to say that all the time. Like he get pinched, he's like, just send me upstate, let me go to Walpole and do my time and just get it because it's like convicts there rather than inmates. It's old school people that are already
Yeah,
programmed and this is their home. They already got a routine and regulations and you know what I mean, rules and
yeah.
code of conduct, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Nobody being loud. Everyone knows how to do their time. Nobody talking out of pocket, right?
Right. So eventually you end up hitting prison. How long did it
Yeah.
take? Were you in county for you to get to, upstate? We call it up here upstate.
So here in Colorado, at least when I foul, they pick you up once you're sentenced, bro. They pick you up within 5 days, right? They'll come to you in the morning and they'll give you a black bag, pack your shit. DOC's picking you up. They'll let you out. You'll go eat by yourselves with all the other convicts that are going to the DOC. And what's crazy is the Denver County is on Smith Road. Right next door is DRDC, which is the diagnostic center. That's where you first go. And you go
Right.
sit over there for like 30 to 45 days while they
Like
do the,
classification.
yeah, they do the mental shit on you, make sure you're not a fucking astronaut.
Right.
Uh, they classify you. Are you with the gang? They check your
Right.
tattoos out. You know what I mean? They log you. They want to see how your brain functions, right? They want to check. They give you IQ tests. They want to see if you're smart.
check your
Um,
get there.
yeah, yeah. If you're gonna be a successful prisoner, or you're gonna give them problems, all these weird tests, bro, with the squiggly lines. What does this mean to you? They'll flash
Yeah.
you some flashcards. What is this? You know what I mean? And it's
All to see where your mental state is. It's all
yeah,
a
yeah,
master manipulation. Once you know, you know. But at the time, it's kind of like, what the fuck, you know?
yeah. I didn't know what it was about. I was like, what the fuck are they trying to go? What the fuck they care about
So
these squiggly lines for?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So obviously, we're gonna get into the politics of Colorado because over there it's different. I know it's a little bit segregated with gangs and races and stuff like that. Was county anything like that? Were they banging in there? Was it?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Everyone sticks to their race. You're not lying there. There are the outliers, right? That bang, black gangs, or some blacks that bang Chicano gangs. And depending on what yard you're in, the function will be a little different, right? Because I have a couple of brothers that are a couple of black brothers that are from my gang, right? And my gang's mostly a Hispanic gang. I remember us being in Buny. We didn't chill together. We didn't like sit together and eat or any of that, but we all had each other's back, right? There was always a cool we was cool, bro. They was my boys. Matter of fact, it was kind of like we kind of had the edge on fools. I remember one time and I've told this story before. I was making a spread, and the head of the Crips walked in, right? And he was with like five dudes, and we was cool. We would always clown with each other and joke. And he was like, "What's up, Borges? What would you do if we just took your spread, homie?" And I was like, "Is that right?" I was
No.
like, "Yeah, that's probably more than you could want to. That's more than you want to eat, bro. I think your eyes are getting too big for your stomach." And he was like, "What, fool?" He goes, "What?" And we were laughing, right? He was like, "Shit, I got five of my boys in here right now, homie. We could T-roll you and take your spread." And I said, "Nah, you're actually outnumbered, homie." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "You're actually outnumbered three to two." And he was like, "How do you figure that?" And I said, "Because two of your boys, you know what I mean?" I was like, "Two of your boys ain't really your boys." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "What do you mean?" It was pretty much even, right? But I was like, you kind of gonna lose this one." He was like, "What are you talking about?" And I looked at the homeboy and I go, "What's up, Shawnee boy? Where you from, Shawnee boy?" And he says, "Shit, you know what this is? It's criminals, homie, Northside." And I looked at D-Day, the homie D-Day. I said, "Where you from, D-Day? Where you, what you?" He goes, "Shit, this is Northside Warlords. You know what it is, homie." And I go, "See, bro," I go, "Your Sally is my boy, homie." I go, "If I wanted him to kill you in your sleep, he'd probably do it." And he goes, "You're a
Damn.
cold motherfucker. You're a cold dude, boy." He
Yeah,
goes,
you
That's
cold for
some
that.
cold shit, bro." He was like, it was cool. He laughed, right? He was like, he didn't even know. He goes, "Damn, bro." He was like, "I didn't even know that." And I was like, "Yeah, those are my homies, bro. You didn't know that?" And he was like, "Damn." He goes, "I hear you say cuz a lot, bro." He goes, "But
Right.
I didn't know you was no crib, but I thought that you just said that word." And I was like, "Nah, homie, we grew up like that. You know what I mean?" I go, we was criminals, right? And criminals, Northside Criminals, which was the gang I came from, bro, they were mostly Hispanic gang, right? The original criminals, they derived from another gang, which is they called themselves the Chicano United Zoo Suiters, right? They were the original
Oh, the
ones.
Zoot shooters. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they called
Yeah.
themselves the Chicano United Zoo Suiters. So they had all of them had on their hand right here CUZ. So we would
Yeah.
say cuz, you know what I mean? Because for
Yeah.
that, that's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
we used to
big
say
history
cuz.
there with the Zoo Shooters,
Yeah,
man. Big history. I've seen a lot of,
yeah.
I know a little bit about them. But again, sometimes it's where you're from and where you're at. Like out here, it ain't really racially segregated. It's more about neighborhoods and blocks and towns and cities, and it's more about where you're from. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
know out there, a lot of times, not always, but most of the time, you're gonna run with your race. That's just how it is. You don't have
Oh
to
yeah,
necessarily be hateful, just more pride thing, or it's just you gotta get down with the program because there's a lot of lifers in there that are setting the tone, and you're just visiting. That's their home.
absolutely. Like I said, depending on what yard you're in, like that like I was on another yard in Bank County with D-Day in Bank County, right? It wasn't like that. It wasn't that politicked up like when we were in Buny, right? So it was a little bit more to the line, right? Hey, this is how we function. Um, it isn't so much segregated, like, oh, that's the Chicano phone, that's the black phone, that's the white phone. Nobody had that. Now it was like that for the tables and the sections of where you ate, right? What section you eat in, who sits here, who sits there, who eats with who. And there are those outliers, bro. Them dudes, those outliers, bro, that come in and they hold it down 100 and they roll with who they roll with, right? That's who they are. Those dudes are, I ain't gonna say get the business. They definitely got to prove themselves, right? And I think once they fucking knock a couple heads, people leave them alone and just let them roll with what they're rolling with. Like, hey, dude's about his shit. He gonna die for his. Leave him alone, right?
Yeah, once they know you're gonna ride, it's like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
right. It's
rocket
is it
time.
really worth it, right? Like, because and I know in prison or like whatever, bro. It's crazy. People want to make it seem like the Wild West. It isn't like that. The Wild West is the county. When you go
Yeah.
to prison, bro, actual convicts don't like drama, homie. They don't
No,
want the
it's
cops
more
in their shit.
structured.
Like,
Yeah,
yes,
that's why they have in some facilities they have the no hands policy because if it ain't that serious, you really ain't gonna take it there. And a lot of people look at it like it's crazy, but it eliminates all the riffraff and the bickering and the
for sure.
bullshit. And if it ain't that serious, you ain't gonna take it there. Then don't even bother.
Yes, yes, for sure.
So once you got settled up there, you was in prison. How was that like?
It was cool, man. Like I said, I had a lot of friends. My cousin was in there doing a lot of time for a murder. Um, so it was cool. He had already set the tone, right? So me and my cousin rode together. People were pretty much scared of him, and they associated me with that, right? I remember one time we got into it with a black inmate, and he tried to go get all the brothers on us, right? And he started shit. He started talking this racial shit. He started going there, right? And he went running to that same crib I was telling you about. He was pretty much the guy that held the keys for the blacks.
Right.
And he tried to get him on board, right? And that black dude told him, "You could have fucked with anybody." He goes, "You could have fucked with anybody in this whole building." And he goes, "But you fucked with the two dumbest Mexicans in this motherfucker. You
And
fucked
that's
with the two dumbest Mexicans, bro." You
yeah,
started
yeah,
shit like that, bro. Like, what the fuck is your problem, bro? Like, they were gonna fuck him up because he had brought drama, right? He had brought drama
that
over a phone, brother, over a phone, right? And not a convict. He was an inmate, right? Because he didn't know how to do time and acted. Oh my
yeah.
god, my grandkids go crazy.
You know how that go. Family first.
So, anyways, yeah, grandma's putting it down on him. But yeah, so anyway, I go to another prison, bro. I get accused of introduction to contraband at Buena Vista, right? I get accused. Allegedly, I was bringing in a lot of shit. Um, so they hand me up. They jam my visit, right? They try to take my wife. They take her outside. They don't find nothing. They take me to the hole. They dry sow me for 3 days. They make you shit in the bucket while they play in the mud and they look for the clavo. And they didn't find nothing. Um, and they packed me out. They give me close numbers. What they said that I was on a level 3. Then they sent me to the level 4. They was like, "We think you're bringing in contraband." They shoot me to Centennial.
So
Upon
that's
getting to
where shit's gonna get different. Cause now
yeah,
you go from a level 3 to a level 4, and I'm assuming you're no longer with your cousin, right?
no, no. But I'd already made a name for myself, right? I already made a name for myself, and when I get there, so I was settling street beefs in there, bro. I was putting hammers to dudes who had violated on the street, right? That and you know how it is, bro. Dudes on the street, they feel real tough when they got that steel
That
with them,
thing on
right?
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they got that steel, so they're a little bit more savage, right? And you get in prison,
Yeah.
bro, you don't got that steel. You got these, or you got some metal to put in somebody if you're with it, right? So I
Right.
was making some dudes miserable that had got out of pocket a couple times, and so um, I get there, bro, and I'm kind of coming down on this dude that robbed one of the homies on the streets, and he runs to one of my brothers who wasn't my brother at the time, and I didn't know who he was, but serious dude. Salute to my brother Manuel Gamboa. He goes and runs to him, and he tells Manuel, "Hey, bro, you need to check this dude. He's over here causing a lot of ruckus, and he's making everybody miserable." And Manuel was like, "Well, why don't you just get down with him?" And they were like, "Well,
Right.
he's kind of big. He's kind of big, homie." They were like, "He's kind of big." And Manuel's a big boy, right? Manuel goes like 320 pounds. He's like 320, 6'2", big boy, not fat, bro, but athletic, right?
Right.
And so Manuel reaches out to one of my boys and says, "Hey, I want to meet your homie. Tell him come to the Native American meetings. I want to sit down and talk with him." So I was like, "Who's dude, bro?" And he was like, "Hey, dude sent for you. He wants you to go rap to him." And I was like, "You think I should or what?" He was like, "You better, fool." He was like, "That's not somebody you want to put on blast, bro. Like, you
Oh
you
shit.
you better go see what he wants, dog, because it could be serious, Conrad." And you
Right.
know me, I'm young, I'm in my pride. I'm like, fuck that dude, homie. I ain't, you know what I mean? I didn't even know who he was. I hadn't laid eyes on him, never seen. Closed facility, you don't get as much movement. You don't
Yeah.
function with the other pods.
And the
Um,
ego's a motherfucker, especially when you're young and you're making a name for
yeah.
yourself. You're like, man, fuck the bullshit, fuck the dumb shit.
So I go meet the dude, bro, and we start talking. And he digs me, right? Because I'm not bitching up with him. I'm holding my own. You know what I mean? I'm ready to still get down. Like, um, and he liked that, right? He liked that I kept it
Standing
100.
on
And
business. Yeah.
yeah. And he was like, "Man, I dig you, bro." He goes, "I think you need to chill out, pump your brakes a little, bro. And you can make your time real hard. You're causing a lot of ruckus and you don't understand. You're making enemies you don't even know, Conrad."
And that's a solid move, not to cut you off, but when you get an older dude or an experienced dude, an OG, and they kick you some game and they're experienced and stuff like that,
Yeah,
it's a stand up move. It's solid because they're telling you like, yo, listen, this is what you can do. I see what you're doing, but if you know you could try this and you might be able to, you know. So it's all about how you take it. Because when you're young, you're gonna take everything as a challenge. But when you're older, you grow up a little bit and you start looking at it from a different perspective. You're like, yo, he's really giving me game.
right, right. So I heard what he was saying, right? He's like, "You're making enemies you don't even know, dude. You're pissing a lot of people off in here. You're getting a
Damn.
name for yourself, and that's not always a good thing, bro. I get what
Right.
you're coming from. Like, you think it's a good thing." He's like, "But some of these dudes are killers, Conrad. They don't like their time fucked with, right? They want shit a
Right.
certain way. They don't want cops in their buildings. They don't want cops searching through their shit. They don't want fucking their get TV getting
The
taken.
heat.
They don't want their
I
phones
want
getting
that
taken.
attention. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna
they don't
bring
want
heat.
you locking the place down because you're a fucking idiot. Like, right? So he games me up and he's like, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna move you over to my pod." He gets me moved, right? Because he's got the strength.
Oh, he
And he
got
gets me,
pulled. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So he gets me moved over there, bro, and he starts running shit down to me, bro. And uh bro, I don't know. He's one of those dudes that grabs my attention so much that if he would have put me on a death mission, I would have did it, right? At that age,
Right.
being that impressionable,
Yeah.
wanting to prove myself. So he
And a
blesses
lot
me
of them
on
just
it.
got charisma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
naturally born. It's like, damn, man, he's doing something right. You know.
So so he allegedly he's the head of one of the biggest prison cliques in Colorado, right? He blesses me, uh, but he doesn't want me getting in trouble, right? He's
Right.
like, "Bro, I see better for you. You got something that a lot of these dudes don't got, bro, and I see better for you." So he
Which is
got me
good
into
again.
school.
'Cause a lot of
Yeah,
people,
but
not to cut you off, but a lot of people, you know, like I know, they're gonna do the opposite and try to use you as a missile or a crash dummy and send you on a crash
yeah,
and try to manipulate the youngsters to stir shit up and go do the shit they don't want to do. But when they're telling you this, you really gotta listen because it's like they could be trying to make you crash out, but instead he's like really giving you game.
yeah,
So naturally you're gonna gravitate towards someone like that.
for sure, for sure. So he gets me in school. He's like, "You got to go to school, homie. I want you to get that GED. Let's get it." Uh, I get my GED, bro. I score off the charts. I get like a 300 score, which is like they go crazy, bro. They ain't seen it in that
Yeah.
prison. They're like, "Bro, 300, you get a Pell Grant. That's one of the best scores we've ever seen." I got like three. I think I got like 315, 314 on my score. And they went ape shit, bro. They went and bought me a cap and gown. They gave me like a little diploma, took pictures of me in the pen,
Hell
bro.
yeah.
And yeah, they made the 300 club. They put me on the board. They had a picture of me,
300, that's
bro.
the spot number. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So they put me in this 300 club that they invented. And then the teacher's like, "Hey, bro, I want you to be a parapro. I want you to help me teach some of these guys because we think you got the skill, and we see that you got respect in here, and we think you could reach some of these dudes." So I
Wow.
start being a teacher, right? And then Manuel, a little bit later, Manuel gets in my ear and is like, "Hey, bro, I like that you're at the school. I'm proud that you got your GED, but I think you need to set another goal, bro, because you're getting stagnant." And he goes, "There was a printing class there, right? For a print class, you were doing printing."
Right.
And he basically like, "Hey, homie, you got to go do the printing." He goes, "That dude don't pass nobody. If you get that, you can get your certificate." So sure enough, I go I go I go to that class, bro, and I end up passing it. I pass it, and I get my print certificate, and I start my points start coming down. Eventually, I get moved out of there. Right, I go back to a lower classification. I leave manual, but like I said, I already got this persona, right? I already got, but I'm at that point where I'm not like gonna just crash out, do something stupid. I start programming, right? I'm programming. My boy's like, don't get in trouble. I don't want you to get in trouble. I'm programming, bro, and I go to Bank County. Um, my Everything's cool. We get in a riot out there, bro, but I get exonerated of it. I was involved in it allegedly. It was
Right.
with Sureños, and nobody got seriously hurt. There was some other than bumps and bruises and some, cut eyes and little bumped and beat up a little bit, right? No one got no metal put in them in that
Right.
one.
Yeah.
Um, so I end up getting back out. My points drop again. I get to George West. No, 4 Mile. I go to 4 Mile, which is a farm camp where you have a dairy farm. So I'm there. Real easy time, right? You got to. It's not even a dorm. It's like a college, right? It's like a college setup. You got your own house, but you got a key to your house. You got a Sally, but again, it's like you live in like a fucking like a college dormitory, right?
Like a dope.
Got your own
Yeah.
little spot. Yeah, it's a trip, bro. It was just a trip. It was just different time, right? And got used to that. Ended up getting my points dropped again, and my mom was sick, so I got a hardship to George West, which is right here in Golden. It's literally like 20 minutes from Denver, bro. As opposed to being 3-4 hours away, right? So I wasn't trying to mess that up. At the end of my sentence, I was at George West. I paroled from a camp. Some people will be like, that's weak. But hey, bro, it is what it is. I was trying to get my life. I had kids, right? I had kids. I realized in there, what, Manuel spit a lot of game to me, bro, and made me see the real for what people were, right? Like, hey, bro,
That's
people will
what's up.
diffuse you. I don't care what you think. Like, why do you care what some of these dudes think of you, bro? They're all pussies. They're always going to be here. Uh, they're scared of you. I don't know why you worry about these dudes. They ain't on your level. And that kind
Right.
of really started setting me up with a mindset like, man, what, I'm wasting time, right? I need to get out of here. I need to get my life together. And I paroled from Georgia. I couldn't get halfway house, bro. I put in for halfway house like 4 times, got denied all 4 times. And from what my case manager was saying, they don't take drug dealers. They don't want drug
Yeah.
dealers in the halfway houses, right?
Yeah.
So I basically end up getting paroled on my third try, um, and I got tabled, which means it wasn't. It has to be unanimous, not unanimous. It has to be. You have to get more the votes, right? But they tabled me.
Right.
It was a split, and then they took it to the full board, and I ended up winning and getting my parole.
And that's what's up, and that's the goal, to do better and get out of there as fast and quick as possible. And again, it's a solid move when someone's telling you that, because usually you got someone in your ear like, yo, you got to keep up your rep, you got to do this, you got to do that. But when they're giving you real game and they want to see you do the right thing and get the fuck up out of here and go back to your family, that's some real shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that
And
that
that's
he's my
ultimately
brother
the
for sure,
goal.
bro. Like he's still in there, bro. He's been down 33 calendars, bro. He's barely, there. He should be getting out here soon. I'm hoping he touches out, bro, because his health ain't doing too good. But I thank God for that man, bro. That dude actually changed my perspective in life. You know what I mean? Because I knew he
Hell yeah.
was a real one. Like ain't no one gonna function more than him. There ain't you ain't get much harder than that, right? Someone who's physical
Right.
and got a mindset and is smart and all that, right? Is like, and he was telling me like, this is all bullshit, homie. It's all smoke and mirrors. Don't be this dude, bro. Like, thank
Yeah.
God for him, bro. He helped me change my life, right? He helped me realize who I was before I even knew who I was.
That's what's up, man. Big shout out to him, bro. Because again, a lot of people, they don't realize a lot of it's bullshit, respectfully, till it's too late, till later on in life. You know, you go through all this shit, you put yourself through hell and back, all to find out that, you know, a lot of it, not all the time, but some of the time, it's not what you think it is. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just, you know what, brother? I needed that time, brother. It's like, to be honest with you, it was a waste of time, but it wasn't, right? It
Right.
I'm a better man for it, brother. I don't
Yep.
glorify nothing I went through in there. I don't glorify how I ever acted, brother.
Right.
Um, I look at all that shit as a loss, right? But it definitely that's how I became me. Um,
Exactly. Turns
that's
in
what
turns
makes
into a
yeah,
lesson. Sometimes you gotta
yeah,
sit down and look in the mirror and really realize who's who, what's what, and who you are and what you are, where you're going.
yes, sir, yes, sir. And I was just, I'm just like I said, bro. I just gotta be grateful for what God's done for me, bro. And um, the 4 years parole, it was pretty easy, bro, because I wasn't functioning, I wasn't doing anything. I got out and told everyone I don't want no part of nothing. Leave me alone. Basically, you know what I mean. If that's a problem, let me know, and we'll knuckle up, or we'll do whatever we had to do. And
Out the way.
luckily, I had enough respect that people just like let me be, right. Just let me be my who I wanted to be. Like, I'm a family man. I don't want to do this no more. Uh,
That's
I'm
what's
not
up.
answering to nobody. I'm not trying to make a name for myself. I'm not
Not
dope
looking to
dealing.
prove myself. I'm not looking for no validation. I'm just looking to do me. Been there, done that, and it's time to move on. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm grateful for that time, brother. It realigned me. It got me to where I'm at today. It definitely molded me into the man I am today. Um, shit, bro. I'm just happy with where I'm at life, right, Ronnie? I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm this, I'm that. I got this. I'm not never one to brag. You know what? I used to
Right.
be real materialistic. We talked about that earlier, right? I think jail cured me of that, brother. I don't hold on to
That's what's
shit
up.
like it,
Yeah, when you
like
lose
tight
everything,
fisted, like just hold it, bro, and squeeze it, and
yeah,
don't ever let like nah, bro. It as fast as it comes, it can go, bro.
it goes just as fast as it comes. You know, the money, the hoes, the clothes, the jewelry, the cars. It's all materialistic. At the end of the day, it means nothing. It's all about what's in here, and it's all about family. You know what I mean? And
Yes,
you've come
sir.
a long way. You've got a great page. You're doing great on YouTube. Everyone, check out Mile High Hustle. I think we should definitely do a part 2. We'll get out of here
Yes, sir.
soon. I know we barely scratched the surface, but I appreciate you coming on, bro. But let me just ask you a few things while you was in there. What's some of the craziest shit you ever seen? Even if you could just think of one thing that really said, "Man, this isn't where I want to be."
Oh, I've seen dudes take their last breath in there, brother. I've seen dudes get their wind took, right? I've seen dudes get their wind took. Uh, I ain't seen it, right? I ain't seen nobody physically get their cheeks took, but I did hear it. You know what I mean? You could definitely
Yeah, that,
hear it.
yeah,
Um, I, s- I seen dudes who messed with other dudes, bro, who were considered solid, right? That I thought was solid, that were just straight messing with, they were playing the crying game. And yeah, I'm good on that. I was like, nah, you know what I mean? I was like, I ain't gonna tell on none of them. I ain't gonna put their name out there and let their wife know what they was doing or nothing like that, you know.
right,
But
right, right,
definitely some sick individuals, brother. You see the worst of humanity, right, bro? You see the very worst of humanity. Um, yeah, brother. It's sad, homie. You see a lot of loss of talent, right? You see a lot of
yeah.
wasted talent in there. Some of the most talented dudes. I'm talking
Rabbits, ball players,
physical,
just
yeah, everything, bro. The rappers,
beast mode with it,
yeah, everything,
fixing
bro.
shit, cooking shit,
Everything.
fixing shit up. Like some of the most talented motherfuckers in the world. Just opportunity, lost opportunity. You know what I mean? Like a waste of talent, if you will,
Prison
respectfully.
MacGyvers, bro. Shit like that. Like, dude, just
That's
what
what
the
I was
fuck are you
thinking.
doing? Yeah, you see it, bro.
Yeah, man, and you know, like we go through what we go through. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about this a little before we went live backstage and stuff like that with the YouTube, and now I'm doing movie and stuff. And it's like growing up in the projects. It's like that shit you dream of. You know, I went from rapping to podcasting, now acting. I'm about to be in my first movie, and it's like that shit was just a pipe dream when we was younger. That's some shit we were just you never thought it would actually be possible. You never thought you're making it past 18 or 21, and now here you are, grown ass man. It's like. what's next? You know what I'm saying? Like how a lot of my people are gone. They're dead or in prison. So it's like I'm here. I'm still here. I'm here for a reason. I gotta make it
But you're
work. I
living
gotta
for
make
them
it
too,
count.
right? You're honoring them with everything you do. You didn't forget about them. Like,
Exactly.
man, I know how far I came. I know where I came
I,
from. I ain't forgot. Um,
exactly.
and you
I
put
carry my
good energy
cousin, my
out, right,
nephew, my
brother?
brother with me, and I do it in their name. Like they'll never be
Oh,
forgotten. As long as I got a voice, they'll never be forgotten. Because the second you stop talking about them, they die twice. You know what I mean?
yes, yes. Hey, I believe that shit. I say that shit too, for sure. Once you say their name for the last time, that's they die again, brother. So,
Exactly. So they'll
yeah,
always live on with me, and I'll keep
feel
their
you.
memory alive, one hundred
Yeah,
percent.
yeah. I don't just do it for myself, brother. My cousin that I was telling you about, he died in there, bro. He
Yeah.
died in there, right? He lost his life in there, dude, for all the wrong shit, right? And
Right.
I always looked at him as the stronger dude, right, bro? I always looked at him like he was the stronger one. Um, I looked at him like that, brother. I don't ever know. I didn't understand how it was. I made it and he didn't, right? I expected him to get through all that. Um, he didn't want to put his guns down, homie. He didn't know like it was time to put the guns down. You didn't want to let him go, bro. Live by the sword, you die by the sword. You know what I mean? But I honored the dude with my life, bro, and everything I do, I keep that memory, that piece of him, right? I wonder what life would have been with him if he got out, and you know, God is good, bro. We're
All
blessed
the
to have a
time.
long life to be, I may not have much, but what I have is mine. But guess what? Ain't none of it mine because it's all just given to me by God, bro. I can't take none of this
Exactly.
with me, bro. None of this. That's why I don't get why people get stuck on material shit. Like you can't
Yeah.
take none of this is gonna come with you. You
No.
can't bring none of this.
One
But
hundred
yeah,
percent. And I say
definitely
it
do
all
a
the
part
time. It's
two.
like you try not to dwell on what you don't have and just appreciate what you do have. You know what I mean? That keeps me humble.
Yes,
But yeah,
sir.
man, I think we should definitely do a part two. I appreciate you pulling up. It's been great. It's always a
Yes, sir.
pleasure.
Always,
Always a
brother.
privilege. Much respect and love, man. Salute. We'll definitely do a part two. Have a great night, bro.
Salute to all
Appreciate
my
you.
Boston people. Thank you all for tapping in. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Remember, God is good, man. And make you let your next move be your best move. Respects. I'm out.
Peace.